Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Sometimes as a head coach, you look out, team meetings, you look out before the game, you just kind of feel it from one of your players. All right? You just kind of feel it. And I felt that way about this guy, really dating back to last night after I talked to the team. All right? 10 tackles. All right? A fumble return for a touchdown. And an absolute gotta have it, make it happen, like it matters more than anything. Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks, you got it, man. 1-0 in the division. Let's rock.
Let's ride. Get the flag. Get the flag.
There's a victory Monday. I forgot my shirt.
The flag's at home. I'm sorry to inform you. I'm sorry to inform you that because I have to.
I completely forgot it.
It's Victory Monday.
Yeah, Victory Monday.
What's wrong with you?
They're taking a day off.
Oh, you didn't forget your NASCAR gear today here, Mr.
No, I got my
Mr. Surly.
Surly, my Kruba coffee. No.
Dude, you
did
dressed up like a NASCAR. You couldn't bring a Victory Monday flag?
I forgot about it. I completely forgot. In fact, I went back into the house this morning to get some stuff I forgot, and I still forgot the flag.
I'm so pissed. I forgot my Victory Monday shirt.
Oh, don't be pissed at yourself. It's okay. It's not the
I'm
worst.
not used to this.
It's not the worst oversight you've ever made, or me.
The only one with a Victory Monday.
Yeah, well, you got to carry it for us. I promise. If they beat San Francisco a week from tonight, I will have the flag with
Victory
me.
Tuesday. Little Victory
Tuesday. Yes.
Next week.
Exactly right.
You can get your shameless plug Victory Monday swag, Purple Daily swag at scorenorth.com/shop. This is Purple Daily presented by Quick Trip, daily Vikings entertainment, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. And mathematically, you're a better chance to do that at 2-4 than at 1-5. So today's show is full of, I think, probably vitriol from all of us in some ways, but we're going to also do a pie chart of praise. As one Ventline guest put it yesterday, that game was awful for everybody involved. If you want the Vikings to win games and go on a run, it didn't really prove anything to you yesterday that they're like a contender. If you want them to tank or lose games for draft positioning, obviously it was not good for you. We've got our hottest Vikings takes. We've got a pie chart of praise from Declan. We've got our nitpicks. And let's shout out a couple friends here before we dive in. AG1, gentlemen. So I had a listener on Ventline hold up his little AG1 container yesterday. About 6 years ago, I discovered AG1 products, and it's like nutritional insurance to start your day. And by nutritional insurance, I mean maybe you're not great at getting all the nutrients you need naturally from food. You're busy or whatever excuse, it's just life happens. And AG1 steps in with 75 high-quality ingredients in one scoop mixed with your water in the morning or in the afternoon. It can be the first thing you drink. Maybe it's a middle-of-the-day type of a thing. Helps with my brain fog, helps with my energy levels, and helps with my gut health as well. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, AG1 is giving you a free one-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purple daily. That's drinkag1.com/purple daily. All right. Hottest Vikings takes. Anything else from you guys before we dive in here? Any other
No, let's get to it.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get to it.
All right. We kind of agreed yesterday that I would Declan's doing the pie in the next segment, so I will start with my hottest Vikings take. And I just want to put a warning out, okay?
Uh-oh.
I've tried to be like, I feel like the last couple years, I know people kind of frame us and frame me as like the Cousins haters. You never praise Cousins. Like, that's hogwash. We tell it like it is on both sides. That's sort of what we pride ourselves on this show. We don't have an agenda against anybody. If we see something that we have an opinion on, we don't sit here and like manufacture opinions like some of these national shows. We just say what's on our mind on this show, right? I do want to warn the Cousins Crusaders. If you are a huge Kirk Cousins fan, what I'm about to say is going to be wildly triggering for you. Okay? So I just want to start there. It's up to you if you want to continue. I will pause for 5 seconds. If you feel like this is going to be too triggering, you can step away. You can go consume something else. Okay? Turn the volume down. Here's my hottest Vikings take. Kirk Cousins' fraudulence as a franchise quarterback and as a competitor was on full display not only on Sunday, but also on Saturday this weekend. The whole weekend. Let's start with Saturday. Adam Schefter reported Kirk Cousins will not waive his no-trade clause if it comes to the Vikings officially asking between now and the October 31st NFL trade deadline. Per Schefter, per my sources, Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins is expected to remain in Minnesota this season and will not look to waive the no-trade clause in his contract, league sources told ESPN. No quarterback has been mentioned in speculative trades this season more than Cousins, but short of a contending team with a familiar offense losing its starting quarterback, Cousins will finish the season with the Vikings. So what we learned is what we kind of speculated on this, that let's say the Vikings get drubbed by the Niners and then they lose on a short week on the road at Green Bay, and now it's actually over. Now you're 2-6, trade deadline's coming up. Vikings go to Kirk Cousins and say, hey man, we haven't reached a contract agreement with you. We're going to move in a different direction. Can you please waive your no trade clause? He would apparently rather stay comfortable and play out the season on a non-playoff team, a lame duck contract year, keep his value, because if you go somewhere else and it's pressure packed and you fall on your face, right? I know it's hard. Learning a new system, it's not easy. No one's saying it's easy, but he'd rather stay comfortable than jump into a pressure-filled situation. We learned that on Saturday. All right. Do you want to react to that, or should I just say all the stuff and
just
then you can
yeah. No.
Okay.
Let's get the whole.
Because the second piece of fraudulence came on Sunday. The thing we learned about Kirk Cousins on Sunday is when you take away his star receiver, we found out he can't carry the offense against the worst passing defense in the NFC. Again, the Bears are the worst passing defense in the NFC. The Vikings season was on the line in this game, right? If you lose this game, there is no hope for the playoffs. There's barely a sliver of hope because you won the game, right? Second half, 0 passing first downs against that defense. 5 yards per pass attempt. He checked down 7 times to Alexander Madison in this game, and he went full blue screen of death twice. One was a turnover. The other one should have been a turnover. They got lucky on the review. This is a Bears defense that was shredded by Jordan Love and by Baker Mayfield. And I get people are saying, well, Justin Jefferson's out. What is he supposed to do, right? Okay, well, Jared Goff was without Amon-Ra St. Brown last week. He had the best game of the season for him without his best weapon. Tua scored 70 points in a game without Jalen Waddle. And then last year, Patrick Mahomes. Let's take Tyreek Hill off your team. Let's take literally one of the best weapons in 10 years in the NFL off your team. What happens to Patrick Mahomes? He leads the NFL in touchdowns, yards, QBR, and he won the Super Bowl. So this weekend we found out, number one, Kirk would rather stay comfortable and just ride it out without going to a contender, without jumping into the fire, right? I just want to stay comfortable based on Schefter's report. And number two, when you take away his star receiver and say, man, we really need something from you here, especially against the worst pass defense in the NFL. He can't carry the offense. And they needed a Division II undrafted free agent rookie backup quarterback to throw an end-over-end duck to save them at the end of the game. That's my hottest Vikings take. The fraudulence of Kirk as a franchise quarterback and as a competitor was on full display all weekend.
All right, there's a lot to unpack there. You forgot the fact that in the post-game press conference, the head coach went out of his way to talk about how well Kirk had played and how the offense had let Kirk down, basically. So we're right back to also trying to pump Kirk's tires. The Saturday stuff, I think we've been speculating about it. And look, the Cousins trade stuff's fun. I'm not going to refuse to talk about that because it's great, reckless speculation. But we've alluded, for years now, to the fact that he wants complete control. When he agreed to the contract he's currently under right now with a season left, he got the no trade clause put in so he could use it. This is how Kirk, this is why he is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time when it comes to negotiating. He wants full control. That's the most important thing. As I keep saying, Kirk has already won his Super Bowl. People don't get that. The Super Bowl of negotiation is over. Kirk Cousins,
is he a 3-time contractual Super Bowl champion?
He's got the Lombardi on the weird spaceship thing with Jim Nantz. He's a winner.
I'm going to Disneyland.
He's a winner. But as far as the game itself goes, did you hear his response to about throwing the pass backwards and how he thought he was throwing it forwards and I it's this one that turned into a fumble that looked like a pass. Okay, there he's getting pressure and it's not a great play, but like I've seen this before. The backwards pass thing,
it doesn't have to happen. Neither one of these plays has to happen.
No, but I'm saying the backwards pass is inexplicable. Like if a rookie did that, and Kirk's done that twice now, because back in, I think it was 2018, when he did the same exact thing with Latavius Murray in Seattle, it's an inexplicable play that if he was a rookie, you'd get pissed off.
Yep.
So unfortunately, I don't think we're seeing anything from Kirk that surprises me. I thought that with O'Connell here, it would help a lot more, and it feels like it's very much reverting back to where things were, including down to this. As Kevin Seifert, our friend from ESPN, pointed out on Twitter last night, Kirk's 2 worst games have come in the Vikings' 2 wins.
Which is, it's interesting that like the other players have to sort of pick up the pieces, and it's another, just to zoom out here real quick, and then we'll get to your guys' hot takes. So this is now the 6th year where we've sat here and we've been wringing our hands as a fan base, as media, over why is the Vikings offense not quite as good as it probably should be? Why is it inconsistent? Why does it disappear? It just, for 6 years, it's felt like, it feels like there's another level here. Why aren't they getting to it? And they can swap out the coach. They can swap out the coordinators. They can swap out offensive line, weapons. Diggs gone, Jefferson in, Thielen gone, Addison in, Rudolph over to what's his name, TJ Hawkinson. Like we're sitting here. The Vikings 6 years ago paid for filet mignon. They've continued to pay for filet mignon. Now they took part of that filet mignon cost and shoved it into a void year in 2024. For the people who are like, his cap number's low. Yeah, because they shoved a bunch of it into 2024, right? They've been paying for filet mignon for 6 years. And we sit here for 6 years, the general Vikings media and fan base, and nitpick the side dishes, right? Like, I don't know, that asparagus looks a little soft. Are those potatoes a little overcooked? I don't know. It's like, no, it's not a filet. Well, that's the problem. But as one of the vent liners point out, it's an overcooked, overseasoned chicken breast. But you're paying for filet every single year for 6 years.
And the biggest problem with this entire discussion is it doesn't matter if you're a Kirk stan, if you're not. The reality is this. The Minnesota Vikings are as afraid as a large portion of their fan base that they can't do better. That's the biggest problem. So the team is literally saying, well, yeah, but I mean, he's pretty good. He's not bad. Why is Kevin O'Connell talking about the fact, well, we dropped passes yesterday and that, we got to, and yes, that's a problem. But he never once mentioned the backwards pass.
Dude, every quarterback deals with drops. Every quarterback deals with pressure. We act like the things that are just natural for all quarterbacks to deal with in the National Football League. Oh my God, he's being pressured. Oh my God, there's a drop. Like there's a couple of drops in a game. We act like that's unique to one guy. And again, I see a bunch of people in the comments. Oh, there it is. You're saying everything is Kirk's fault. No, I'm saying forget about like divvying up a pie chart of blame all the time. Let's divvy up a pie chart of solutions. I need Kirk to be a much bigger slice of the pie chart of solutions than he has been this year and than he has been for the majority of 6 years.
It causes me great consternation. This morning, my biggest concern is this. Why does the head coach have Kirk Holmes syndrome? That's what causes me the biggest concern. Like, dude, you can't don't fall into Kirk Holmes syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, tough. Again, well, I mean, we got to do better for Kirk. No, actually, the entire team.
Dude, for 10 years.
The entire offense.
God, for 10 years. Everyone around Kirk's got to be better. Everything else is garbage. Everything else, right?
You like that on 3, 1, 2, 3.
All right. This is going to dovetail in perfectly to what you said, but this is a solution to the problem. My hottest take is this. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and the Vikings front office needs to treat Sunday's win as if it was a loss.
Ooh.
In their minds, as they go, and you know what? For Kevin O'Connell and for the locker room, you guys enjoy it. If you can stomach that piece of garbage, you enjoy it. But if you are the Vikings, any plan that you had on Saturday, if your team dropped to 1-5, should be intact today. Because there is no reason to watch that game. And by the way, your 2 wins have come against 2 combined teams that have a 1 win between them, the Panthers and the Bears. There is no reason to see anything that happened on Sunday as anything other than a blip. And so I'm going to assume that the report by Diana Rossini of The Athletic on Saturday was accurate, that the Vikings are getting calls and having discussions about, as the October 31st trade deadline approaches, Danielle Hunter, Harrison Smith, KJ Osborne. And I'm just going to assume Kirk is going, as much fun as the conversation is, nowhere, okay?
Yeah,
but
he's not going to win.
But if yesterday changed anything that Kwesi thinks, or his thought process of we won, so hey Falcons, sorry, but we won yesterday. It's idiotic. Treat it as if you lost. Don't necessarily tell the players. You don't even have to tell O'Connell. But you need to treat this as if you are 1-5. Because the long-term future health of this team and getting to a before we die Super Bowl championship is going to hinge in a very important part on what is currently transpiring. And if you take solace in a win against a terrible team, in which, by the way, you probably had more faults than good things, you are committing football malpractice. Treat this as if you lost and move forward with any moves that you were going to make. Don't let a win over an awful team that at the end of the day was playing a Division II quarterback sway your opinion.
Don't you think, though, no matter what, they're going to let the 49ers game pass through first? So it's like, I agree with you in that it definitely felt like a loss. It was a win, and now they're probably not making a significant trade this week anyways, but it kind of, because they won, they're probably going to get to the 49ers game and see, well, they are beatable. The Browns beat them. It's a home game. Got an extra day to prepare. So do they, by the way. And then see what happens. I mean, this is the thing, like, if they beat the 49ers, then nobody's getting traded.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't disagree with what you just said. I think that is a terrible mistake because this team, whether they beat San Francisco or not, is going nowhere.
But if they beat San Francisco, they will think, mission accomplished. We're back on track. We just beat the best team in the NFL. We're 1 game under 500. Let's go. Let's roll. Look at our schedule.
I would love, and I'm sure that they watch this show. So Kwesi, listen to me and listen to me closely. It's fool's gold. It's fool's gold. This is not anywhere near a complete enough or good enough team. And here's the thing. You've got the opportunity of a lifetime here. Do you know what Danielle Hunter could potentially get you right now? So let's think long term. Let's paint with a very broad brush of the future in mind. Because I don't disagree, Phil, but the reality is, so far, you have 2 wins against 2 teams with 1 combined win. And second of all, I have seen nothing that leads me to believe that, oh man, if this team gets back, if they get back on track, we all want a championship, right? You have the opportunity. You are right now. You are building the potential like you're at the ground floor. And this is an opportunity to basically start on the ground floor and put in the building blocks of your future. And if you pass it up to chase God knows what, because I don't think you're going to make the playoffs, but God knows what, then you were not the right person to hire as GM of this team.
Wow. I mean, that's like a second hot take layered in a hot take.
Is, yeah,
I'm here for it. But the other thing, too, is look at the Lions, man. The Lions, again, a little 2-touchdown win.
I apologize.
That's a legit football team.
I'm sorry, Lions. I'm sorry.
They're one of
They're good.
They might be the third best team in the NFC right now.
Yep.
Or maybe even better than that.
Maybe
and
the second.
Your path through to the playoffs runs through that Detroit team toward the end of the year, too. So, all right, Declan, what's your hottest Vikings take?
All right, my hottest Vikings take. I had a couple options here. I ended up going with this one. I sometimes like to write down a few things even before the game. I think I was telling Phil this at Park Tavern. I'll even come up with the take. I'll put the bones of it even before the game starts, because then if it comes to fruition, I feel like a genius inside. And one of those things happened yesterday, but I'm actually going to bank that take because actually that tank's got a little bit of a shelf life to it still. So instead, I'm going to go with this one. So here's my hot take. Every Minnesota Vikings fan should be thankful for kicker Greg Joseph. They should be thankful and they should be lucky to have him.
Okay, I'm going to need a little more here because he was garbage yesterday.
Oh, that's interesting, because of all the things that have gone wrong for the 2023 Vikings, Greg Joseph was the one thing that has gone right. And in a sloppy game, your kicker nailed not one, but 2 kicks from 50-plus yards. You have an offense that only had 12 first downs, 220 yards, 174 yards passing, 2 of 13 on third downs, 25 minutes of possession time, and it was your kicker that bailed you out with points. And Greg the Leg did that. Extra point, not his fault. And if I told you going into this game, Greg Joseph is going to start with 2 50-yard bombs to get you on the board, you'd take that every time. Greg Joseph has been called out a ton over the last few years, but when they needed him yesterday, he delivered. They're back in the win column. Greg Joseph, you should be lucky to have him. He hit 2 massive kicks for you in a very sloppy game against the Bears. You should be thankful to have your kicker, Greg Joseph.
Okay, like setting the tone, the offense sort of stalls out early and Greg bails him out to put him in front. You know, he's not going to make every 50-yarder, but to make a couple early, okay. Which I've been questioning. I haven't been questioning.
You've been wanting him to do it.
No, he doesn't make 50-yarders. That's not a question.
And he made 2 massive ones yesterday.
So we're praising Greg Joseph for doing. We've lowered the bar now. I'm okay with this hot take, by the way. But look at what's happening here is because of Greg Joseph having a terrible season last year, lowest percentage from 50 and beyond, lowest percentage extra points. We are now praising him for hitting a lower bar. That's what we're doing here. He did his job a little bit yesterday, so nice job. And he was actually, I don't think he missed any in the first 5 games, right?
Those were
his first misses of the season.
Of a PAT and a field goal.
He was perfect going into the game.
Judd looks like he's still processing this hot take. He looks befuddled.
I feel like it's I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was such a, like, this season is so, there's so many elements here. I don't know if I care about the kicker at this point in time.
Oh, well, he got you a win. So that's good.
He put the Vikings up early when they otherwise maybe would have had to punt or something, right? At the end of the first drive that stalled early.
You would have been happier if he missed those kicks, wouldn't have you have been?
That's what he's trying to process.
I got my write that down point, and I got it twice.
I don't care about that. I mean,
yep, that's all I care about. I don't care if he makes it or not. Like this season, I cared last year because it was a 13-win season, and it felt like a team that had some juice. If your team has no juice, the kicker to me, yeah, you don't want him to miss, but it's such a small thing right now.
The 49ers are trying to figure out the kicker is the last piece to their puzzle, and he missed a 41-yard game winner.
Right.
It's right.
And if this had been the Vikings a year ago, and that game either won the game or lost him a game, then yeah, I think it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. But yeah, this is I don't know. This team's got lots of problems.
Okay.
Lots of problems,
all right,
including the head coach going backwards as far as his in-game management, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, there's a lot to dissect here. Okay, you know what, Dex? Okay, I see you over there. Oh, Greg Joseph, Stan.
Thankful for him.
All right, it's time for a pie chart of praise coming up here momentarily.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
After we shout out our good friends, the title sponsor of Purple Daily here, Quick Trip, Judd Zolgad. Look at that beautiful hat right there. Just
look at this hat. Look at this cup. It is their signature Karuba coffee, which, of course, Sports Dad here loves his coffee, and Karuba coffee is outstanding. And let me tell you today about Quick Trip and what is going on there, because I've been talking for about a week now about all of the chicken options. And don't forget, on special every Monday, a roasted whole chicken prepared fresh daily. It's great for meal prep or a very easy dinner as well. You've got fried chicken bone-in, 8-piece special every Wednesday. Chicken tenders, hand-breaded, 3 or 8-piece. These things are jumbo, perfect, again, for a quick, easy lunch or dinner, prepared fresh daily. Chicken sandwiches, boneless wings. Everything you need is at Quick Trip, so make sure that you check them out. And, of course, we appreciate them being a title sponsor on Purple Daily. Cheers,
Yes.
Quick Trip.
Our friends at Underdog, too, are making it even more fun than it already is to watch football on the weekends, Dex.
Yeah, my guy Benja B on Twitter sent me this little winning slip. You'll notice there's like a little chili icon next to those higher touchdown percentages. So sometimes Underdog Fantasy will give you a little bit of bonus. So Jordan Addison, Jalen Waddle said, hey, if you actually take some of those, we'll multiply your payout even more. So a $30 slip for my guy Benja B, which would usually net you about a 90 because it's times 3. This actually nets this guy $168 because he ends up getting a nice little slip with Jalen Waddle and Jordan Addison touchdowns from our friends at Underdog Fantasy with those pick'em slips. The best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. If you want to join, use promo code SCORE, SKOR. They'll give you a mystery pick'em special plus a $100 deposit match. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app and send us those slips.
Yeah. Also, a shout out to our friends over at Summit Orthopedics. So, maybe you're dealing with a back problem or a knee problem or maybe a hamstring. I don't know. Depends. But if you're dealing with any type of pain, Summit Orthopedics is here for you. No referrals needed. They offer same-day appointments. If you're really hurting, they also offer orthopedic urgent care 7 days a week starting at 8 a.m. 25 locations in the Twin Cities and across Minnesota. Learn more at summitortho.com. That's summitortho.com.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
All right, it is time for a pie chart of praise because the Vikings won the game yesterday. So Chef Dex has been cooking up a pie chart of praise. I know it feels like they lost, but this is a pie chart of praise here.
The Rock
Very
knows how you
interesting
feel about
pie because I had to help my buddy Vinny we were trying to put together the piece of pie, and Vinny, should this guy get a slice of pie? And he sniffs it and goes, nope, can't have that in the pie. So I said, okay, fine. I come up with this piece of pie, and there are 5 slices of pie in this pie chart of praise. You'll notice a theme, I believe, in this pie chart of praise. Maybe the outlier, which is in this first piece of pie. First piece, 10% to Greg Joseph, the kicker, who I said helped the Vikings win the game. You should be thankful for him. He gets 10%. Nails a couple big kicks to put you up. Windy, it's hard to place to kick. He still nails 2 50-yard field goals. Greg Joseph deserves a slice of pie here. He gets the first slice, and it's just 10%, but he deserves a slice of pie. So 10% to the kicker, Greg Joseph.
Okay, yeah. That's fine. Totally fine with Declan's ridiculous love for a very mediocre kicker. But he made a couple kicks in a tough stadium to set the tone for the Vikings. Okay, 10%.
Second piece of pie, maybe you could argue that this should be higher. We played a clip from Kevin O'Connell off the top praising this guy because he did have a very good game, but I can't give him the biggest slice of pie necessarily, but 15% to Jordan Hicks. Now, on paper, a very good game. 10 tackles, the fumble recovery, the interception, touchdown, pass deflection. He had a very good game, stat-stuffing game. And he's had, honestly, a resurgent year after kind of a meh first year with the Vikings. He played very well. He deserves, obviously, a chunk of pie. But I have a hard time giving him a bigger chunk of pie than the rest of people on this pie chart of praise. So 15% to the linebacker, Jordan Hicks.
Who also deserves a real chance now to be set free, to go to a team where he can win. Jordan Hicks is like this is probably the last really solid year for Jordan Hicks, and it's going to be a shame. I think he deserves a chance, an opportunity. Everything about this year is an opportunity.
We have banned the word tank on this show.
You're not
You've not heard the word. No, I'm saying the only time we use the word tank is to tell the audience we've banned the word tank.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you not think that Jordan Hicks, this guy is giving his all? He's actually playing really well. I give him a ton of credit. And to stifle him, to take him away from the opportunity to hold a Lombardi trophy on that stage, hoist it up there. This is a great chance for Jordan Hicks, who might get you back. Do you think maybe a 4th-round pick now? I mean, he's playing pretty damn well. I say probably 5th, but
I would take any capital for guys that aren't re-signing with the Vikings next year.
Yeah.
So 4th or 5th, whatever it is. The one thing I did notice in that post-game speech of Kevin O'Connell's, well, two things. One, he paces a lot, and it makes me feel anxious that he paces so much.
I like the
Wish he
pacing.
would just like stand in one place and
I like the
talk.
pacing. I like the moving.
It's a little. I don't know.
I never thought about
frantic.
it. He does pace.
It's very quick. Like it is. He's moving very fast. Yeah.
He's
going.
twitchy.
It'd be one thing if he's like doing a little bit of a shuffle and here and there. No. This is a left to right. Like,
yes.
Going all over the place.
I think we would see O'Connell as being far more twitchy if we didn't have PJ in town. Like O'Connell's very enthusiastic,
but he's a diet version. He's a diet version of
right.
diet,
But like if he was like if the Gophers had an older coach and O'Connell had come in to replace Zim and we saw his quote unquote act, I think that we would see him as being far more twitchy than we do because PJ is just so off the chart.
So if Tracy Clays was still coaching the Gophers,
Right.
you'd have a lot different opinion on
Yes.
Kevin O'Connell's mannerisms.
Well put.
But the other thing that was obvious in that 3-minute clip that they posted of the locker room speech on the Vikings platforms is that he hasn't lost. It doesn't look like, anyways, the attention of that locker room when he's giving out those game balls. Those guys are like dialed in. They're going in for hugs with him and stuff. Mm-hmm. Jordan Hicks and Byron Murphy. So I could see how it would be really hard to get Kevin O'Connell to agree that we got to trade Jordan Hicks.
How about the Byron Murphy where he gives him a game ball and he's like, he fumbled the ball, but he got it back.
But then he's also like, this is finally, you're seeing why we signed this guy.
Well,
make sure you don't fumble next time.
He daps up everyone but Byron. Like he dapped up Jordan Hicks, he dapped up Danielle Hunter, all the shout outs he's given, he's like going around to give him actual like daps. He just throws the ball at Byron Murphy.
You know what he should have done? He should have given Byron the ball and then turned around and then come back and slapped it out of his hand. That's what he
the little
done.
stick he's got. He's just poking it out.
Yeah, grab Bumble!
The Rock knows.
All right,
how you
slice
feel
number
about
3.
pie.
All right, slice number 3, 20%, another individual player here. Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter, a massive game. Starts the game out with a big old sack on Justin Fields. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for a loss, a pass deflection as well. Danielle's having a great year. And last year, he still had a very good year on paper, but it was obvious he was being utilized poorly in the Donatel system. I mean, Danielle Hunter's back. It's actually kind of a shame that he lost all of 2020 and only played half of 2021 because you could clearly see why he was on a case for probably a spot in Canton, and maybe he can still get there for sure. But those 2 years probably robbed him a little bit of solidifying his case. But man, he's a monster in this Flores defense. He was causing havoc all over the dang place. So 20% to Danielle Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he's on pace for a career high, and he's leading the league in sacks right now with 8. His career high is 14.5. So, if he stays on this pace, he's going to flirt with 20 sacks, right? So 12, actually more than that. He'd be over 20 sacks at this pace. So, but he's probably not going to be a Viking next year, right? He's a free agent. I know it's hard to hear as a Vikings fan, but like that dude can get you a first-round pick in a trade. He's 29 years old.
I feel like if you're not going to trade him, I feel like in his case, then sign him to an extension before the deadline. Like I don't want to take him to March and then be like, oh, we lost him. How unfortunate, right? So and at his age, he's been great, but at his age and as Deck said, basically for 2 separate injuries, having sat out a season and a half, I mean, there is a pretty compelling case to cash in here. Again, an opportunity to cash in.
Yeah, I mean,
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
He'd also be foolish to not go hit the open market because he's been looking for that payday his whole football life. So it works for both sides. Okay, so slice number 4.
Yep, 2 slices left. Slice number 4. Let's give it 25% to Brian Flores, who cooked up a really good stew here. I know the individual players in Jordan Hicks, Danielle Hunter. Hey, you can throw in Byron Murphy, I guess, in there, even though Kevin O'Connell threw the backhanded compliment at him. I thought Flores in general threw out a very good game plan against the Bears offense, which had Justin Fields get injured and they had to bring in a backup quarterback. But regardless, 5 sacks. They just let 141 net passing yards, 3.9 passing yards per play. It's not a very good offense, but it was an offense that was coming off 2 games where they scored a boatload of points. They put a lot of pressure into the quarterback's face. Flores in general, I think, has done a very good job, even with a very interesting case of personnel that is limiting him, he's still making some really good chicken salad out of chicken bleep. And I think Brian Flores deserves a ton of credit. So 25% to the Vikings defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
Yep, I think it's obviously like anyone could have called this going into the game, but he executed it. You've got quarterbacks, the starter, and then the Division II backup that aren't great at processing defenses. First drive of the game, it might have been the first passing play of the game, and a free runner comes off the edge to sack Justin Fields because he doesn't know what he's looking at. It's complicated for a veteran to dissect this defense. Mm-hmm. And I mean, how many times has Boone sat with us this season looking at some of those defensive plays the Vikings run or other teams running similar schemes? And like, even if you're a 35-year-old veteran, it's hard to figure out who's coming, who's going. How do you adjust the protection if you're a center who had struggles yesterday for the Bears? So he flustered everybody.
He seems to be, Flores that is, making the most of what he has. I will say this, though. We have seen now, and again, this is why you are not a contender. We have seen now the run defense, okay? Jonathan Bullard actually has played well. Like he has been the one guy who, when he's in the middle of the line, can help you stop the run. But there was a play, I think it was a second or third and long, perhaps, for the Bears in the second half on Sunday, where Bullard came out and they went right back and I think they gained like 8 yards. So like this again, you have to find better interior players. And I am sorry, have you guys seen Dean Lowry make a play yet?
Yes. Well, last week he made a play.
Okay, thank you.
They showed him on camera last week making.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, didn't he have?
That's right. You're right.
After being like the worst graded defensive player the first 4 weeks, I think last week he popped up as like the second best player for the Vikings on defense.
But I don't know what he does well consistently.
What would you say?
If anything,
you do here.
Would you say?
But I mean, Flores.
You do here.
Flores ain't gonna say this, but he privately has to be like, "Damn."
It's a jump to conclusions, Matt. It has different conclusions.
I'm a people person.
You can jump to.
Why can't you people say that?
I'm a run tag. I'm a run stopper.
I'm a veteran.
The Rock knows
better
how
leadership.
you feel about pie.
All right, and I think we have 30% for the last chunk here.
Yep, last chunk of pie, 30%. Just give 30% to the Chicago Bears for being the Bears. That's where I'm at here. I had a very, as I said off the jump, I had a very tough time with this pie chart of praise. I could not give a single slice to anyone on offense. Not a single, not a soul deserved a slice of pie in this pie chart of praise. So with this big chunk that I had left, I just decided, you know what? Let's give the biggest chunk to the Chicago Bears being the Chicago Bears. I know it's a little backhanded. I understand you still have to beat the other team, but God, the Bears are they're a mess, dude. So I'm going to give 30% to the Bears.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears
are going to.
We thought they were.
The Bears are going to have perhaps the top 2 picks in the entire draft, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
It's tracking that way.
And they're going to have a new quarterback.
So can they trade Fields then? Would somebody would trade like a fourth or fifth round pick for
most
Fields?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then you get Caleb Williams, and then you get Marvin Harrison Jr. Probably. And now you'd have your rookie quarterback with DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., Mooney.
Do you think Saturday's USC game against your Phil, Fighting Irish, do you think that's going to change opinions of Caleb much?
Not yet, because he has the rest of the schedule to play out.
And he's
going to run into some other teams that are tough, and if that's his only blip, guys have blips on their
that's what I was going to
resumes.
Say. Yeah.
So, it's a tough place to play. Whatever, it's Notre Dame. Now Drake May against Miami in a big test was excellent. I don't know if it was enough to jump over Caleb, but. And then there's 4 or 5 other really interesting quarterbacks to keep an eye on too, if you're the Bears or any other team that might be looking for a quarterback in the draft.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
Declan's pie chart. You want to run through that real quick there again, Joseph?
Yes. 5 chunks of pie, 10% to Greg Joseph, 15% to Jordan Hicks, 20% to Danielle Hunter, 25% to Brian Flores, and 30% to the Chicago Bears, being the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. Okay. We've come to the nitpicks portion,
which is hilariously funny since the whole show has been basically nitpicks about that win.
So it's just like more nitpicks, I guess, presented by our friends at Surly Brewing Company. The Before I Die lager has been taking the Twin Cities and beyond by storm here.
There you go.
Right there, Surly. Yes, Before I Die, this does not seem to be, unfortunately, the year that the Vikings are going to deliver on the promise of someday a Super Bowl before we die and before I die. But you know what? At least Surly still stays on point. The mission remains clear. The can remains awesome. Before I Die from Surly, absolutely a great session beer, absolutely a great beer to drink during the game as you enjoy the game, or in the case yesterday, you just keep going to the fridge and drinking more Before I Die because the game's so bad. Before I Die, outstanding. Furious, outstanding. Logic Bomb. I could go through several, but you know what? If you're going to enjoy a Surly, tweet us your cans. Show us X us your cans, I guess. It makes no sense. Tweet us your cans at JZolgad, Z-U-L-G-A-D, on Twitter. We, of course, always want to see what Surly beer you are sipping on.
Yeah, send us your cans via an X post. It still doesn't.
It's just.
You can't verb it.
Twitter was so perfect.
Yeah. You can't verb it. Face-to-face and eye-to-eye. It's one of the many things that makes Federated Insurance stand out in the business insurance industry. Their value-added customer service combined with risk management resources is key to providing the right coverage to help fit your company's needs. If you are a business owner, especially if you're a next-generation business owner, taking over a family business, whatever it may be, Federated Insurance is here to help you. All under one roof. Marketers, underwriters, risk management personnel, claims professionals. FederatedInsurance.com has it all. Federated, where it's our business to protect yours. Okay, boys, time for some more nitpicks, I guess. When the Vikings win, we give you nitpicks to keep it balanced. When they lose, we give you silver linings. I'll start you guys off with this one. I feel like the last 2 years, I've tried to come on here and be like, just a little bit careful about not dumping on Kirk Cousins too much, because he's generally like the 8 fourth quarter comebacks last year, and like he is a better quarterback than he was 5 years ago. But I just can't hold some of this stuff in from yesterday. Once again yesterday, Kirk Cousins, as he has proven throughout his entire career, is incapable of just stomping out a bad opponent. If this was Mortal Kombat, Kirk Cousins' finishing move would be 3 and out. Like, every time they have a chance against a bad Bears team, a bad Panthers team, whatever it may be, it's always somebody else's fault too. It's never his fault. We got to look at all the side dishes all the time. He just has no ability to take a 2-touchdown lead, make it a 4-touchdown lead, bring the backup in for the fourth quarter, right? So I was curious, like, is this just my own like narrative that I'm making up here? Do I just think this is what I see in the 6 years of Cousins as Vikings quarterback? So in Cousins' Vikings career, the Vikings only have 7 blowout wins of 3 scores or more. The last one was 4 years ago in December of 2019. So only 7 of them since he took over 6 years ago. Jared Goff has double that, 14 over that stretch. Josh Allen has 23 over that stretch. The 49ers have 25 over that 6-year stretch. Joe Burrow has 9 in the last 2 years. And Deshaun Watson, who missed 2 seasons for being a creep, has the same amount as Kirk Cousins. And by the way, I think started a year after. So, dude, like, one time. I don't want to hear about excuses. I don't want to hear about this, that, the other. You're playing a bad Bears team. They're putting in a Division II rookie backup quarterback in the second half. Put the game away, man. Just go stomp on somebody. Go put up 30 points against a bad defense and just end all doubt. And he just, time after time, is incapable. He doesn't have it in his bloodstream to do that to an opponent. He goes into, I don't want to lose what we've got mode. So that was my biggest nitpick, dude. Go stick a freaking, bayonet in somebody and end this game.
Sounds very harsh of Kirk. Kirk doesn't like that.
A football bayonet, not a real.
But even that. So I'm going to stay on the same side of the football, but I'm going to spread some nitpicky blame out here on a stat that I don't feel like it probably got enough play, and obviously if the Vikings had lost, it probably gets more play. But the Vikings' third down efficiency against the Chicago Bears on Sunday was 15.4%. And it ain't a small sample size, as the kids like to say. They were 2 for 13 on third down against the Chicago Bears. That is on a lot of people, including Kirk Cousins, including Kevin O'Connell. 2 of 13. So you basically went into Soldier Field, and you somehow, when it came to your third downs, turned back the clock to the 1985 46 Gary Fensick, Buddy Ryan, Bears all-time great defense that won a Super Bowl. I don't feel it got talked about a little bit, I heard, but I didn't hear much about this. But I just want you to digest against a Bears team that is awful. They're atrocious. You only converted 2 times on third down in 13 chances. And if you look at the second half, you guys, the second half offensive futility is off the charts.
Dude, 0 passing first downs, only 2 overall first downs in the second half, one of them being on like the last drive of the game.
You know, I know that you're down on Kirk today, and I'm fine with that. But I mean, to me, you know, come on, Kevin O'Connell, you're an offensive-minded coach. You're going against a terrible, terrible team. Yeah. And this is what you do in the second half of a game where, quite frankly, you should have come out and just hammered the ever-loving snot out of them.
Yeah, 12. So the Bears had 18 first downs. The Vikings had 12 first downs, overall first downs. And the Vikings had 12 first downs in the entire game.
You know, walk out of there with a 21-point win.
Incapable.
Well,
Incapable.
yeah, but I am concerned that the head coach did the old song and dance about Kirk played well, blah, blah, blah. Like, he should have gotten up there. And you could tell, if you go back and watch his post-game presser, his voice basically sounds like, oh, boy, we damn near lost that game. So, like, he knows. He's not a dumb guy, as we discussed. This is not a dumb person. He's not a delusional dude. But, you know, to get up there and talk about, well, you know, drop passes and Kirk did this. No, your whole offense sucked. Like, this was an inexcusable showing. And I know that you won, but that was the last 2 weeks have really, for very different reasons, you guys have really disturbed me from a Kevin O'Connell standpoint.
Well, the biggest one, we talked about this for a while on Ventline yesterday, but it's worth repeating again. And maybe this is a deeper conversation for like the Tuesday show in terms of the target and touches distribution. So who are they trying to get the ball to with targets and with handoffs? Alexander Mattison had 25 targets and touches. The rest of the weapons combined had 24. That can't be what they had in mind on Wednesday when they're drawing this up. Like, there's no way you put together a scheme and say, boy, you know, our starting running back who can't catch a pass to save his life and who has proven time and again that he's probably a small doses backup running back that we elevated too high. And we have Cam Akers now. So, like, we could easily just, like, give Cam Akers some more touches, right? Mm-hmm. Or hell, Ty Chandler could get a couple touches once in a while. Mm-hmm. No, we're going to go with a 55% share of the touches and targets for Alexander Mattison and expect to be explosive on offense. I mean, is that Kevin O'Connell? Is it Kirk checking? Like, that's 7 passes to Madison is inexplicable to me.
Yeah, the fact that they stuck with Madison in the run game, like, some weeks he's been pretty good and some weeks he's not. But I mean, what I don't like is this. Yes, Justin Jefferson is out. Yes, it hurts you. There's no question. He draws double teams. He's a great player. But all of that being said, you were playing the Bears. Like, if you were playing a top 5 defense, okay, I sort of get we're sort of screwed here. It's not really ideal, but we're going to try and get by. But if at any point you said, well, we're without Jefferson, what are we going to do? It's the Bears. It's the Bears. And I just feel like the last 2 weeks, again, for very different reasons, are presenting some red flags about the head coach that I guess I didn't truly expect them to be like this.
Yeah. All right, Dex, what's your last nitpick?
Yeah, just a putrid performance on offense. The third quarter, they had 2 first downs in the second half of the game. Their offense was awful. They were penalized complete 5 times. Like, just the fact that they went into that game in the second half and they still had a chance to just basically milk this game and run down a defense that's poor, and for them to put up that type of offensive performance in the second half where you almost allowed a Division II quarterback to complete an epic comeback, and that's just unacceptable. And for them to have that taste in their mouth, it's just, yeah, you won the game. It's great. Like, you haven't had many wins. You've now had your second win of the season. For them just not to go out there and just control the game and win this with ease, I think was pretty shocking and a little bit of concern for sure.
So, all right, there's an uplifting Victory Monday here. A little Victory Monday. Well, thanks for hanging out. This was a therapy session for us, I think. Usually we are the therapists, and you come into Ventline, and we are here with words of encouragement and wisdom. I think you guys were that for us today on this live episode. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And on the audio side, it helps us out a lot when you give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts. So thanks for hanging out with us on this Monday morning. We will have a Trenches episode either today or tomorrow as we are planning our schedules with Alex Boone. And then be on the lookout for Purple Daily on Draft and the Before I Die podcast. So a barrage of Vikings content coming at you. It's now 49ers week. Let's go. 49ers week. Get pumped up.